Mike Tyson has addressed the media after rumors that his altercation with Jake, the fight that was originally scheduled for July 20th, has been rescheduled. Most Valuable Promotions said in a statement that both Mike and Jake agree that it is only fair to ensure that both athletes have equal training time to prepare for this important match and are able to compete at the highest level. They also confirmed that the boxing showdown will still take place at AT&T Stadium. On Friday, Tyson announced that he would need medical attention due to an ulcer flare-up. This year Tyson, who is 57 years old, recently sought medical attention after experiencing nausea and vertigo while traveling from Miami to Los Angeles. Tyson showed symptoms of vomiting, weakness, and dizziness upon the plane's landing, according to a statement released by American Airlines. Tyson was then taken to a nearby hospital by the Los Angeles Fire Department, and he was also instructed to take a break from his strenuous training regimen, despite his later claim in a social media post that he felt 100%. Paul declared he's fully on board with the delay, so Mike Tyson has no excuses come fight night. My fans know I don't want to face Iron Mike at anything less than his best, but let there be no mistake when he steps into the ring with me. I will be ready to claim my victory with a spectacular finish. Tyson said in a statement on Friday that he wants to thank his fans worldwide for their support and understanding during this time. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon. Paul and Tyson's showdown will go down in history, and I pledge to give it all I've got for this once-in-a-lifetime battle that follows the revelation. Paul expressed his opinions on social media, displaying a deep comprehension of the situation and an emphasis on Tyson's welfare above all else. Paul described the news as catastrophic, noting that all of the undercard fights had been cancelled. He then restated the warning that Tyson had given him, saying, "You may have bought yourself some time, but you will still be knocked out." Despite their mutual respect, Paul's response to the event exhibited an unexpected level of intelligence, which Tyson also displayed to a large degree. Although Tyson had a burning desire to fight Paul, now isn't the time. Jake Paul added the clearly terrible news. He continued, saying, "I'm heartbroken, speechless, and gutted. We've been working so hard over here." He expressed his sincere regret for the members of his training team and all others, including fellow fighters, who were affected by the incident. Paul added, "I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event. The whole undercard, this whole opportunity has been ripped from us." Despite Tyson's illness, he acknowledged his desire for his improved well-being. Paul stated that he loves and respects Mike above all else. He also stated that he wants Mike to stay well and that even though Mike has stated that he still plans to knock him out, Paul believes he has bought himself some time. "I do, in fact, value Mike's health above all else because I love that guy and I have a lot of respect for him. I also want Mike to be well because he says he still plans to knock me out and I bought myself some time, so Mike is still talking that way over there. Given the considerable age gap between the competitors, this forthcoming match promises to be an exciting sight. The experienced 57-year-old Tyson will face the young 27-year-old Paul, but Tyson's legendary accomplishments in the boxing world clearly demonstrate his unquestionable talent and merit in the ring. While Paul, with a modest 9-1 record, has experienced some success, facing off against Tyson in a more relaxed setting like this fight promises to be a true test of skill and tenacity. Tyson, a seasoned former world champion, boasts an impressive 50-6.2 career record, making him a formidable figure in the ring. Meanwhile, Jake Paul has said that he adores and really respects the legendary heavyweight Jake. Paul underlined the importance of the chance, feeling that the fight would be revolutionary, and said that if Mike still wants to go with the battle, as he has privately said, he is ready anytime Mike is. Paul shared his philosophy of using setbacks as opportunities for growth and his conviction that the universe is error-free. Regretting that the altercation didn't work out this time, But Mike, this is too great of a chance to pass up if you want to do this, as you said, behind closed doors and behind the scenes. You mentioned you wanted to do this in Q4, so I'm ready anytime you are. I believe that this fight will change everything, and I will transform all of my losses into victories. The universe doesn't make errors, so let's see what lies ahead. I apologize to everyone who was disappointed, the fans adore you all. The fight's postponement has raised questions about a number of other fights. The light welterweight champion Katie Taylor was supposed to rematch Amanda Serrano the same evening, however, it's anticipated that the whole show, including this fight, would be rescheduled. Unfortunately, Tyson noted, my doctor has advised me to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover due to my ulcer flare-up. British YouTuber who became a fighter when KSI learned that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's much-awaited fight had been postponed, he was shocked. In reaction to the ex-revelation, KSI made a humorous remark that made him giggle uncontrollably at the expense of the problem kid. As arch-rivals, KSI and Jake Paul's hostility against one another is palpable. Curiously, the Brit partners with his elder sister in a business endeavor, which complicates their relationship even more. Despite the uncertainty, one thing is clear. There will undoubtedly be a confrontation as the conflict between the nightmare and the problem kid intensifies. In response to Xi's taunts, Jake Paul, who is renowned for his lightning-fast reflexes and self-assurance, moved quickly to confront X with a daring suggestion. KSI's coach has said that because he now weighs more over 200 pounds, there are no weight-related excuses. Let's schedule it for July 20th, and Paul vs. Tyson for October or November after that. The implication that KSI may use weight as an excuse was obviously a taunt intended to coerce KSI into accepting the offer. This tweet not only laid down the gauntlet but also implied a full fighting schedule for Paul, including a possible match against KSI before meeting Tyson later in the year. Equally self-assured and unwilling to back down, KSI answered Paul's challenge with a counterproposal and his own cutting rejoinder. Nobody wants to see you battle an elderly AG person at the end of the year when I already have a bout scheduled for August. Instead, they want to see me fight in December. In addition to challenging Paul's desire to take on an older opponent like Tyson, Xi's reaction recommended a December showdown, which would give both combatants plenty of time to train and remove any potential delays or schedule difficulties. Paul responded with another tweet, also in a hostile manner, making fun of KSI's look and restating his timetable. I recently extended the chance to KSI and his forehead for July, and he said, I'm fighting in August, cool, I'm fighting in October, November, February. It's 200B MSG NYC get it done most valuable promotions by proposing a fight in February at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Paul sought to maintain the momentum and provide a clear strategy that would compel KSI to commit. His mention of the most significant promotions demonstrated his commitment about seeing the struggle through. In his typically direct manner, KSI criticized Paul for altering the weight class standards and questioned his motivations. You requested 185 JQ fraudulently. There are no more possibilities for the elderly home. You don't really want to fight December, so let's run it at 185 instead of. This is all just noise. No justifications. This tweet broke through the clutter and returned attention to the main problem. The time of the event and the weight class. Xi's demand for a 185-pound battle in December called into question Paul's sincerity and willingness to confront Jake's former partner. The back-and-forth between Paul and KSI has not only delighted their followers but also increased the suspense for a possible battle by showcasing their personalities, competitive spirits, and marketing acumen, turning every fight between them into a much-anticipated spectacle as his battle with Jake Paul's arrival has been delayed. Despite his health issues, Mike Tyson has expressed a great desire to compete against Anthony Joshua. At 57 years old, it seems that Tyson is focused on a bigger show. Even though Tyson's recent health issues have delayed his return, he is determined not to let time slow him down. The fighting legend endures. Tyson's spirit is ignited by the resolute thought of going up against Joshua, a two-time world champion in his own right. This impending in 2020, during an open interview with TMZ Sports, Tyson found himself visualizing grand objectives. The showdown, full of suspense and expectation, promises to captivate fans with its sheer spectacle and ferocity. Bly was open to the idea of going up against Anthony Joshua, who was the heavyweight championship king at the moment. "I would love to fight Joshua, that would be incredible," Tyson said. "I'm very interested. If doing that means we can have a bigger charity exponent, well, so be it. I'm down to do that too." Jump ahead to the present. Tyson hasn't competed since his exciting split draw with Roy Jones Jr., while Joshua has given up his championships to Alexander Usyk, who is making a return with 4 straight wins. Nonetheless, the allure of a lucrative showdown with Paul, which is scheduled to air on Netflix, lured him out of his semi-retirement. As Tyson appeared on Jonathan Ross's program, boxing fans had differing views on his next move. Anthony Joshua shared his thoughts on Tyson's return. The boxing hardline, on the other hand, thinks it's incredibly wonderful and doesn't like it because they believe it disrespects our sport. Joshua clarified, illuminating the purist's viewpoint, saying that when you qualify, there is an Olympic procedure that you must go through. You advance to the professional levels, but a profiled person might appear out of nowhere and take on one of the top players. Joshua went on, "But I believe Paul introduces all of these people to boxing, which helps everyone else in the business. It's a hard game, so everyone watching helps. I think it's really good for exposure though." Excited, Joshua said, "The only thing I'm worried about is father time," adding that it's one thing that has never been defeated. He isn't looking forward to a battle with Tyson just yet. "Now that Tyson is older, I hope he recovers well. I believe that Jake Paul is the only reason Tyson will succeed in defeating the bolder younger Paul, despite all the odds, when he gets well. If he does, then we will finally get to see the perfect showdown between Joshua." There's a ray of light on the horizon. However, the boxing world is definitely waiting impatiently to see what happens for fans wanting to watch a fight between a boxing legend and a crossover sensation. The news likely dampened their spirits. Jake Paul's older brother Logan seems willing to take iron instead of iron in the ring. Despite their initial disinterest in one another, Mike's brotherhood has grown closer. Could this be the opportunity they've been waiting for to put an end to their differences and put an end to any remaining issues? Logan Paul tweeted, "Now that Mike Tyson is out, I'll step in and we can settle this once and for all." Ironically, Paul's offer comes just after Lon Knight, a competitor in the WWE, challenged Paul. It seems like a lot of people have supported the tweet, which appears to indicate that Sean Ricker, also known as Lon Knight, has shown interest in the United States Championship that Paul, also known as the Elder, is presently holding. According to Mike Mack, Logan Paul's impulsive co-host and long-standing buddy, fans feel that the conflict between the two brothers is the greatest choice since it is now well known. However, Pam and Greg don't want fans to think that way. The feud between Logan and Jake Paul was well known in the past when the two brothers were becoming well-known YouTubers in Los Angeles. However, this new information was discovered when the Netflix documentary was being filmed. Jake Paul, the troubled kid, was not told. According to reports, Jake Paul said that in Los Angeles, people were more concerned with business, expanding their brands, and generating money, and that this led to a cutthroat race. "I wanted to prove to him that I'm legit, I can do this too, and he wanted to prove to me that I'm the bigger brother and I'm going to get more followers." During that period, they both dropped diss tracks and engaged in regular banter on their YouTube channel. However, a few years later, they patched things up and began backing each other. Many wondered if the brothers would ever settle their differences in the ring, but fortunately neither Jake nor Logan Paul showed any inclination to take it that far. During an episode of Impulsive, when Mike Mack proposed the idea of a fight, Paul expressed enthusiasm for the spectacle it would create. Nonetheless, both he and his companions clarified that it wasn't a venture they were keen on pursuing. Jake Paul said, "It's interestingly enough I had this epiphany where I was like, why the would we ever do this like that?" Logan Paul soon pitched, "And I had the same epiphany at your age. Yeah, it was so intriguing for so many years because I knew how big of a show it would be, but I got one brother, I don't want to fight him." However, a broader inquiry looms: how will they fare against each other? There are lingering uncertainties regarding the caliber of opponents each brother encounters. Conversely, Jake Paul, who is well known for taking boxing seriously, has been steadily improving his techniques. It is possible to characterize Logan Paul as a cautious boxer given his inconsistent appearances in the ring, most notably his fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr. in 2021 and his match with Dillon Danis last year. Despite not being able to compete at the highest levels of professional competition, the problem child still has a significant impact in the crossover world and has even responded to his brother's challenge. "Mom doesn't want me to knock you out, but the loser needs to change their last name," Jake Paul tweeted. Tony Bell objects to the fact that, even though the fight was approved as a professional match, Jake and Mike were only allowed to compete for 2 minutes in each round. Bell criticizes the format, which consists of 8 rounds that last only 2 minutes each. Official matches involving female professionals usually follow the standard 2-minute time schedule. Bellew has criticized their decision to compete in the shortened format this summer. He told Ace Odds how that is being registered as a professional bout when you're fighting 2-minute rounds with a 14-0 glove. Bellew also expressed his frustration by looking into the origins of the fight's commission and approval, denouncing Jake Paul as a misguided person looking to associate himself with Mike Tyson's legacy. Bellew also described the situation as absurd and conceded Tyson's disregard for his record while closely examining the approval process. "It's crazy, because Jake Paul just wants to be on Mike Tyson's record, and I know what Mike's doing." He commented on the oddity of Mike Tyson's career, which had primarily taken place within the confines of 3-minute rounds, puzzled, raising an eyebrow at the inclusion of a 2-minute round bout on Tyson's professional record. "I can understand why Mike doesn't give a anymore, but how are you passing this?" He highlighted how women's boxing's traditional 2-minute rounds contrasted with the sport's unprecedented foray into the men's division, a move he regretted for disgracing the sport and making a mockery of its professional standards. He continued, "For his entire career, Mike Tyson has engaged in bouts lasting 3 minutes each. How can he let a round of fighting to be on his professional record for 2 minutes? Why are rounds lasting more than 2 minutes considered professional in the women's code, but not in the men's? It's an utter shame." Meanwhile, in an unexpected development, a former world boxing champion has entered the arena and offered to fight Jake Paul in place of Mike Tyson. Incident follows Tyson's health concern while traveling from Miami to Los Angeles for emergency medical attention. Following reports of Tyson's distress, staff members flocked to the plane's landing site. Remarkably, Tyson disembarked unassisted, appearing relatively unfazed despite experiencing lightheadedness and nausea due to a stomach ulcer flare-up mid-flight. The unexpected medical emergency raised immediate concerns about the possible cancellation of the highly anticipated Paul vs. Tyson bout, especially considering the notable 30-year age difference between the youthful 27-year-old Paul and the seasoned 57-year-old Tyson. He went to X in a fit of rage after discovering on social media that the bouts had been cancelled. He remarked, "You love to make up before knowing the facts for clicks likes." Nothing changed if Tyson was forced to miss time due to illness. An unexpected challenger entered the scene. Sikoa, the former IBO super middleweight champion who ruled from 2008 to 2010, returned to the ring in 2021, but stated that if Jake Paul was serious about facing a former champion, he should look for someone much younger or active in the last 10 years. "I can fight Jake Paul at any weight he wants. Of the recent sporting matchups, none have sparked as much passion as the bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Viewpoints from various angles have poured in, each providing a distinct perspective. If you liked this video, be sure to watch some of our others that are shown on the screen.